Okay, so machine learning. We hear this term thrown around all the time, right? But what does it actually mean? I promise you, it's not just some tech buzzword. It's a technology that's already, fundamentally changing our world in some really big ways.
And here's the crazy part. You're already an expert user. No, seriously. This super powerful, super complex science, it's something you're using probably dozens of times before you even finish your morning coffee. So let's kind of pull back the curtain and see exactly how.
All right, first up, we're going to go on a little scavenger hunt. We're going to find all the places machine learning is hiding in plain sight. You know, in the stuff you use every single day. So just take a second and think about your day. From the moment your alarm goes off to when you crash at night, where do you think you're bumping into these super smart algorithms? The answer? Oh, it's pretty much everywhere.
Okay, let's start with the thing that's probably in your pocket or your hand right now, your phone. Every single time you use voice to text to fire off a quick message, or you ask Siri or Google Assistant, hey, what's the weather like? Yep, you're using machine learning. And you know when your photo app just magically knows who's in the picture and suggests tagging your friends? That's ML doing its thing.
And it totally doesn't stop there. Think about your email and that spam filter that, thank goodness, catches all that junk. That is a classic machine learning application. Same deal with your search engine when it just nails the perfect recipe on the first try. Or how about that streaming service that just knows exactly what movie you're in the mood for? That's all ML.
Okay, so it's obviously super useful, but that kind of brings up a big question, right? Why did we even need to invent this whole new way of doing things? I mean, what can it do that regular old programming just can't?
Well, the thing is, for a long time, the only way we could program computers was by giving them a super specific list of rules, like if this happens, do that. And for a lot of jobs, that works great. But for other tasks, it's pretty much impossible.
Here's a good way to think about it. For a GPS, a programmer can write really clear rules, right? Check all the roads, find the shortest one, take it. Simple enough. But what about understanding what a person is saying? I mean, think of all the different accents, the different ways people talk, the background noise. You can't possibly write a rule for every single variation. It's just no way. The computer has to learn the patterns all by itself.
So, that huge difference between following rules and learning patterns, that's the key. That gets us right to the heart of it. We've seen where it pops up, we've seen why we need it. So now, let's get down to it. What is machine learning exactly?
And here's the textbook definition. It's the science of getting computers to learn without being explicitly programmed. You know, it's kind of like that old saying. It's the difference between giving someone a fish and teaching them how to fish. Instead of writing code for every single rule, you build a system that can figure out the rules for itself just by looking at tons of data.
And that quote right there, it just nails it. For the really tough problems, the stuff like understanding human language or spotting diseases on an X-ray, the smartest people in the world realized we can't write down all the rules for this. It's impossible. The only way to move forward was to get a machine to learn how to do it by itself.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about our phones and Netflix recommendations, but the real revolution, the big story here, it isn't just about our consumer gadgets. It's about how this tech is changing the foundation of entire industries.
I mean, we're talking about massive, world-changing stuff here. Machine learning is being used to make wind turbines way more efficient, which helps in the fight against climate change. It's being used in hospitals to help doctors catch diseases earlier and with more accuracy. It's on factory floors, spotting tiny little defects that a human eye would never see. It's even out in the fields, making farming way more productive. And this impact, it's not just about cool tech. It's about money. It's economic. And the scale of it is, honestly, it's hard to wrap your head around. We are talking about one of the biggest economic shifts in human history.
$13 trillion. Just look at that number. Let it sit there for a second. What does a number with that many zeros even mean?
Okay, so according to a major study from McKinsey, that is the estimated amount of extra value, new value, that machine learning is going to create every single year by the year 2030. That's not the total, that's the additional value. It's an insane amount of money being added to the global economy.
But here's what's really wild about all this. You'd think, okay, all that money must be going to the tech companies, right? But you'd be wrong. The vast majority of it, a whopping 70%, is expected to come from outside the software world. We're talking retail, travel, manufacturing, you name it. That's the real story here.
So, where does this all go from here? We've seen what it's doing right now, but what about the future? What's the ultimate goal of all this learning?
Well, for a lot of researchers, the long-term dream is something called artificial general intelligence, or AGI for short. This is basically the grand challenge, to build a machine that's not just good at one thing, but is as smart and capable as a human across the board. Now, before we get too ahead of ourselves with sci-fi visions, it's super important to know that most experts think real AGI is still a long, long way away. We're talking maybe 50 years, maybe even 500. So the tools we have right now are amazing, for sure, but they're just one small step on a much, much longer road.
So let's wrap it up with this thought. From how we treat diseases, to how we grow our food, to just getting around town, machine learning is already changing everything. The question isn't if it's going to have an impact on you, it's how. So the real question to leave you with is, how is it going to transform your industry, your job, your future?